Hello, and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager 3 stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, is FHM producer Jeff, who is pictured on your screen in the top right-hand corner.
Hey, everybody.
And we are back with our 1967-68 LA Kings expansion game. If you were not with us last time, quick recap. We did our initial expansion draft in our first episode. We quickly simmed through most of the season up to the trade deadline, and we have not had a great year, have we, Jeff?
To put it mildly, yeah. I'll just show you the standings here. We are well back where the actual Kings were, who just finished just under 500 in the real NHL this season. We are way, way back at that, 15, 40, and 8 right now. Playoffs are probably completely hopeless at this point. We'd have to close 15 points in the remaining 12 or 13 games that are left. So that's not going to happen. Just to sum up where the roster is, we're looking pretty good in goal. Jerry Cheevers and Dave Dryden, Hall of Famer in goals. So we're pretty much set in goal, I think, for the next 6 or 7 years at least. So no worries there. Defensively, it's somewhat young, but they're starting to come together. You can see a lot of we're up to 4 two-star guys now, and we've also got 2 defensemen on the injured list. Just to show you the star ratings on those guys. Ed Van Imp and Bill White. We're also at 2 stars and may get a little better. So
we have some talent there.
On defense and goal from the blue line back, pretty good shape. Forwards are another story, though. We've had Jim Papen, who's had a really good year for us. 49 points so far, was actually in the top 10 scorers in the league for a little while until the whole team tailed off in the middle of the year. Gary Dornhofer, not quite as good points-wise, but is developing nicely. You can see the 2.5 stars he's got. Other than that, and Bert Selby's 2 stars. He's kind of a reclamation project only, even though he's only 22. Grabbed him off the Leafs after he had won the Calder a couple of years ago, and went from Rookie of the Year to third liner after that, and they was available in the expansion draft, so we grabbed him, and hopefully he's going to turn it around a little bit. But after that, we're mostly young guys, or guys who are probably 2 or 3 years away, or a few guys who are on the way out. Claude Provost, Don Blackburn.
Yeah.
So,
now, we did have some more veterans, but we unloaded some of them at the trade deadline.
Yeah, we picked up a few draft picks a couple of years from now. We're still actually at the trade deadline right now, so we may do a little bit more. One thing I did in between the end of the last stream and this one is sign a few free agents. Just grabbed some roster filler. So you can see my reserve list now has a few more players on it. Nobody who's Guy Trache, who could probably step in right now, but we don't really have room for him on the main roster. I switched up the dress list a little bit, so some of the veterans, Vasco Blackburn, Larry McKee, Claude Provost, are sitting right now, and I've moved some of the younger guys in, Simon Nollet, Lars-Eric Schuberg, and we'll try to get them a little playing time, see if they can come along, because we're not coming back from this year. But
No.
What you were saying before we started this, and I think it's a pretty good idea. We're pretty much guaranteed the first overall pick this year. The problem is the 68 draft is pretty terrible. There's basically no talent at all in it, because all the good 20-year-old players were already in NHL systems by this point. So the only guys in the available in the draft were basically the leftovers, and drafting out of the lower end of junior teams or even senior hockey in a lot of cases. I'm not sure if they did in 68, but 67 even had some guys who were drafted straight out of midget. So the first overall pick isn't really worth as much as it would be in a normal year. However, the drafts are going to start to pick up in a year or 2 from now. So what
next
we
year
can do
we're
is try
talking
to work
about
something out and try to offer our first rounder next year, which is going to be valued fairly high because it is number 1 overall, for a first rounder in, say, 69 or even 70.
Now, question, would the AI consider more value if we wait till the draft? Or would that scare them off as they see the prospects?
Not right until the draft. I'm trying to remember exactly. I think we may be able to get a little bit more out of it for if we wait until the season is over, because then I'm obviously guaranteed to get the first overall pick. I don't think it's as sophisticated enough yet to do the math that lets them know that
Yeah.
the first pick is guaranteed at this point. It just knows that I'm last right now, but I think we'll maybe get a little bit more value for it in the off season. So I will wait until then, either draft day or even the day after the playoffs end, and shop it around. Then we'll also have a better idea then how the other teams are shaping up. We'll probably want to trade with another one of our expansion teams. But enough of that for now. I did change the roster up a little, change the strategy a bit. I'm just going to go forward, I think, week by week here, and we'll see if anything interesting happens. We did just go past the end of the trading deadline.
So I know we're doing awful right now. Should we be considering changing our tactics, even if nothing else, to build up another tactic?
Might be an idea, yeah. Maybe I should take a look at that right now.
Like, I know we're in the late 60s, so it would be changing something to, like, I know in a personal game I'm playing in the 80s, so obviously I'm playing fire wagon hockey. Is that something we should be considering?
Not at
And
this
even
point.
if
No, I
that,
think, I mean, with the things we want to keep our own strengths in mind. So
okay.
what we've got right now are dump and chase, collapse into the net, which are sort of pretty defense-oriented tactics. Let me. I mean, we could go to the Shiro thing a few years earlier. Like we've got Kurtenbach and Battleship Kelly down on the farm, and Glenn Sather may have enough tough guys to pull that off. I wonder if we should try that. It's it's still fairly defense oriented, especially if we could pick up. I mean, Bob Clark is going to be available in the draft in a couple of years.
Well, what if we even just went to simply shoot the puck and see if that kind of changed things? Because it's not.
We don't have the offense for that. I can pretty much guarantee that one isn't going to work.
Evil Man 2011 in the chat says, "May I offer a suggestion?"
Yeah, shoot.
Yes, Evil Man, absolutely. As we continue to look, okay. Well, what about something like stretching the D? Even though we're not great scoring, maybe if we have a collapsing defensive approach, maybe we got a guy cheating on the red line all the time.
Yeah, still we've got the forwards just aren't good enough to pull that off. I think I'm going to try the Shiro thing.
All right, I like it.
And we're gonna be pretty bad for the first little while. I'm gonna leave the defensive system as it is, and let's see what the assistant does with that tactic and those lines. On global tactics, should I change anything there? Probably. I'm gonna play a little slower tempo, see if that helps our forwards a little bit.
Evil Man 2011 says an unrealistic idea for the time, but an overwhelming attack.
Yeah, see, that's if I had better forwards again, that would be something I'd consider. But just with these guys, it's going to be tough to do. Okay, so yeah, all right, everything seems to be. Oh, it wants to put poor old Billy Inglis into the goon role on the third line. Yeah, because it's a Shiro system. It's kind of insisting on that. We have somebody in that role. If I got anybody can do that, I know we've got a guy on the farm who can do that. So, what the heck? We're throwing the season away anyhow. Let's bring Battleship Kelly up.
Evil Man 2011 says 2 speedy wingers and a good passer at center could spread the puck well. Yeah. Could, but again, as Jeff's point, we don't have the team for it yet. But it's something we probably want to build towards, right?
Yeah, getting there. We need one. We got to find a good forward at some point to build around. Oops.
Well, that's why we keep throwing draft pick away.
And I'm just wondering who we need to sit to put Kelly in. Inglis or Larry Lund. I think it's going to be Lund. And wants to put Kelly in the middle, which is a little odd, but now it does have third line goon, which is what that Shiro system wants there. So Okay, let's try
Third line
a
goon.
week or so here. And then, should mention we're going through this a lot faster than we normally do.
Evil Man 2011 says, "Get Gordie Howe."
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Definitely. I was going to look at the schedule. Oh, what do you know? We won a couple. Beat the Flyers, beat the Stars. So I'm just going to take a quick look at the game summary in the Stars game. Didn't look like we fought that much. Kelly had a decent game, wound up with an assist, so he's doing okay. Not bad at all.
All right.
Do another. Well, we lost Bob Berry. Outdated day, so I'll just swap Don Blackburn in for him.
Okay, I heard outdated day today. Then I got confused.
Out day today, not outdated day.
Yeah. Goon tactics. Maybe that's what we should have been doing since the start.
Apparently. Okay, great. And then Jim Papen gets, we get a lot of little injuries. Britt Selby out, Jim Papen out, and they came back relatively quickly at least. We won one more and then lost a couple after that. We got 3 games left in the regular season. Hopefully we can hit 50 points, but even that's looking unlikely. And Papen has got to go out.
Is there an option just to park the bus and just do that?
Yeah, there are a couple of super defensive options, which really aren't looking that bad at this point. Just going to let the AI pick the lines for the last 3 games while I've got all these injuries. And I think that will probably run us to the end of the regular season. Anything interesting going on? Oh, we got a development report here. Nobody going downhill. That's good news. But
yeah, let's
improve. Larry Mickey improving for some reason. Guy Trache, who we picked up, improved in 3 categories. Not bad.
Always good. Is it Gary Cheevers on that list?
On the development report?
Yeah.
Cheevers was not on this one, so he may have been.
Well, he showed up on mine, and he went up to 3.5 stars.
Oh, he's in 303. He's 3.5 stars in mine already.
Was he? Okay.
So yeah. Okay, so did that get us to the end of the regular season? Yes, it did. 74 games, 51 points. So we broke 50. That's
all right.
Something, I guess. We were actually only 6 points behind Oakland, so we weren't completely pathetic this year. And just looking around the league to see how the stats. Bobby Hall wins at Norris. Frank Mahovlich leading goals, so pretty close to real life. Phil Esposito still on the Hawks. Didn't get traded to Boston in this game, so Chicago is going to be scary in another year or 2 if they're not already. We do have one guy in the leaders. There's Keith Magnuson, number 4 overall in penalty minutes. Oh, and he's actually number 8 in shots blocked, so I think he'd have a pretty good shot at Rookie of the Year. Anything else of interest in here I can see? A couple of expansion guys in the goals leaders, Johnny McKenzie and Donnie Marshall. But you can see how good the established teams are. It's just total domination, the scoring leaders by them. And the standings, Toronto finishes first after... Yeah, I think they won the cup in '67 in real life, but got knocked out of the playoffs the previous year. But the Rangers, who were the defending champions, missed the playoffs entirely. Kind of a surprise. And anything in the news? Doesn't look like it. Anything of note here? Nope, don't think so. And our injury list. Van Imp and White are still out for a little while, so hopefully they're going to be back in time for next year. think that's a minor injury to Harper. Yeah, only 1 to 2 weeks. Jim Papen, probably likewise. Yeah, day to day. Contract system situation looks good. Moose Vasco has a year left, or his contract is going to be expiring, but I haven't been playing him. And he's 32, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm going to show you, use a contract screen for that and show you the stats for the year. You know, Papen led us in scoring, had a pretty good year. Selby, you know, nice little comeback for him. Brian Campbell coming along nicely. Glenn and Say they're surprisingly productive. Didn't do a lot of fighting either. Weird for him. Same with Erlen Kurtenbach. At Provost, there's Gary Dornhofer, who will probably have a better season next year. Bill White, who I guess we lost him right before we started this, right after we saved that. Magnuson, Bob Berry, not a big year, and some of the younger guys we were playing. Dennis Kearns hasn't done much. Schuberg, not too impressive. Game ratings, I'll just sort by that. And Gilles Marat and Van Imp right at the top. Brian Campbell, he's been doing really well for us. 1.5 stars only too, so I think he's got a lot of potential there. Campbell was actually a pretty good player in the WHA. I think he had 1 or 2 decent seasons in the NHL before he jumped, but he was one of the, I think Indianapolis and Edmonton, one of their better players for a little while. But other than that, Papen's kind of far down on the list. That's a little odd, considering he led us in scoring. But looking at that screen and the reserve list, don't have anybody need to sign. Just want to check the contracts on the injured list. And Bob Leiter, we need to try re-signing him. Oh, he doesn't want. Okay, he won't negotiate with us, so he's not happy that he hasn't been playing, or I guess we didn't use him enough at the start of the year, so we're not. I think he's going to be a restricted. Oh no, he won't be a restricted free agent. I don't think I got an offer in. So
Jeff, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, because I was talking 5 minutes and then I realized I don't think the sound was coming through.
Definitely wasn't. Yeah, I was wondering why you weren't saying anything there. I was kind of filling and.
Yeah, it appears Discord. So sorry, who were we talking about? Who didn't want to resign?
Bob Leiter was the guy who didn't want to resign. He's on the injury list right now. So
yeah,
I was just reviewing everything at the end of the season, so you didn't miss any action. And I will.
Well, I was hearing up until I just.
Okay.
I was wondering what was going on.
Just going to run this to the end of the playoffs, and we will see who winds up winning it this year.
Yeah, there's. I was just gonna in the chat. Evil Man 2011 was kind of throwing some shade at you the whole time, saying, "Can we just disband the team because you can't lose if you can't field the team?"
Yeah, that's probably not a viable option. Okay,
yeah. CS High 312 says hello to us, and in the chat, Peregrine 23 says, "I like how he's 19 years old," which he is.
Oops, so yeah, I didn't even think, I forgot that's what it defaults to, and I didn't change that.
Lacos1234 is telling us in the chat he's playing as the Modern Bruins, and he made the Eastern Conference Final, but he missed the next. He made the semifinal. He missed the playoffs. Got annoyed. Traded for Ekblad, Jeff Skinner, and his current 25-4-3. So that's an interesting game you got going.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just running this through the playoffs here. It'll stop me if there's anything interesting. Just updating our injury stuff. Another development report. Yeah, see, that's I don't want to sign Vasco. He's declining already. Claude Provost also going downhill. Probably get another good season out of him. And Magnuson, McKay's developing. That's nice. Yeah, there we go. Cheever's got another point. Have a quick look at the roster to see if we got any extra stars. None that I can. Oh, Papen made it up to 3 stars. Well, that's good.
All right.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be stuck at 2.5. Can activate Bob Leiter. And still waiting on a report for Van Imp and White, and could have sworn I sent Larry Mickey down, but okay, there we go. And the playoffs, oh, actually, it looks like there's a mistake here. The playoffs should be split divisions at this point, if I remember right. And it actually looks like it's given us a Chicago-Boston final. Yeah, we're going to have to fix that. It's definitely a bug. It should be matching up the West teams and keeping them together until the final. So we'll need to work on that. I think we're going to take a look at a lot of the playoff formats and historical in FHM4. Any other interesting news? Doesn't look like it. See how that final works out. Just our adjustment report. That's nothing too big. And Chicago up 3-1 over the Bruins. And there we go. At the end of the season, the Hawks win it. So shut out Boston 3-0 in the final. And the post-game comment comes from Phil Esposito, ironically enough, because he's not a Bruin. And Esposito wins the Smythe, too. So just looking at the trophy winners at the end of the year, Bobby Orr gets his first Hart trophy, or oh, he got the Hart as well. Okay, yeah, Norris and Hart at 20. And Bernie Perrant, if you're wondering how we wound up with Jerry Cheevers, the Bruins decided to protect Perrant in the draft instead, and apparently paid off for him because he got the Vezina this year.
Good for him.
And Brad Park won the Calder. So Magnuson didn't get it, and that is the GM of the Flyers, who were the best of the expansion teams. They wound up winning that year, or wound up in first place, I think, in the league. And he gets that. Dave Keon gets the Selke. Mahovlich wins the Richard. And you can see a few other awards. So we are at the end of the regular season, so let's try doing that thing we talked about.
Yeah, we're going to have staff renewals here too, so make sure you don't miss them.
Good point. Oh, no, actually we don't. Oh, we got the scout and the trainer. Oops, trainer doesn't want to resign.
Doesn't want to resign or can't get paid enough.
Yeah, wants too much, so...
Here's the problem. Same thing's happening in the sim I did kind of through, and I can't sign anybody.
Yeah, that's I think there's an issue with the trainers in historical, so that's not a huge deal. It doesn't have a huge impact on the team, but
So they want too much money? Is that?
Yeah, their reputation's probably starting reputation in historical is probably too high for the. I'll have to change that at some point. So just looking here. Now we want to make it. The standings. Want to pick a partner. We want to pick a trading partner and try to move that first round pick this year to somebody who's likely going to be in a bad position in, say, 69 or 70. So what does Oakland's roster look like there?
I'm going to say
here's
bad.
A team that's got a lot of older guys near the top as their top players. So Oakland is fairly bad for that. Minnesota... No, Minnesota's pretty young. Maniago, Stanfield, LaRose.
I think we got a Montreal, Oakland.
Problem is Montreal's probably going to be a lot better in the next couple of years. They've got... I mean, it's still a solid roster, and you got LaPerriere, Cornelier, Danny Grant come along. Ralph Backstrom's still good. Andre Boudria is going to get better. So yeah, no, that's probably not a good partner for us there. What about the Rangers? Oh, no, the Rangers are going to have Rattel and Gilbert coming. Yeah, Jazz. Yeah, that was a decent team in the '70s, so that's no good. Try the Blues. Yeah, again, Andre Lacroix. No, Tony Esposito on goal. No, forget that.
No, it's going to have to be Oakland.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Pittsburgh's still relatively young, and I'm guessing the Flyers are. Well, the Flyers are a little bit older.
They got a lot of young guys too, though.
Not a lot of potential in them. Well, we'll try Oakland first. And so what we want to do here is I'm probably going to throw in a couple of players. So we were looking to move Blackburn anyhow, and he's 29. And our first rounder this year, 1968. Actually going to ask for the Seals 1970 first rounder.
Interesting.
But they don't want to move that one, so I'm going to have to try. Yeah, okay. Yeah, see, Oakland isn't. I know what the problem is. Oakland's draft pick is too high this year. It's assuming they're going to be in a similar position a few years from now. So the Flyers would be a better partner for this, and we just hope the wheels come off there in the next season or two, and I'll make it a 1970 pick.
This doesn't seem very historically realistic. Oakland would have traded that for a bag of chips.
Yeah, that's kind of what Montreal did to them in real life more than once. And okay, no, well, what am I doing? That's not me. I don't want their 68 pick. I want their 1970 first rounder.
No, their 69 pick would be okay.
They're probably they're probably going to do decent next year though, so it's going to be a little farther down. So I think we'll be able to get a much better player in 70. And what was Blackburn that I wanted to throw in? Where did he go? Let's see if I can get a second pick. I'll see if I can get a pick out of their second rounder next year as well.
No.
Don't know if that's... So Blackburn, our first rounder for their second rounder next year, and their first rounder 2 years from now. So give it a week, and let's see if we get a response. And they'll do it.
All right.
So, okay, goodbye first rounder this year, because it's a really pathetic draft, and we're not going to worry about that too much. And I don't think we have anything else that we need to attend to right away. Just going to take one quick last look at the injury list and see if we got an update on... Nope, Van Imp and White still sitting down for a while, so I'm starting to wonder about them for next year. But let's run this to the end of June if we don't get interrupted by an offer or anything else, and it doesn't look like we will. Here's a development report. Okay, yeah, the older guys. Oh, that's not good. Britt Selby, who's only 23, is declining already, so you can see what happened to him in real life. But Magnuson coming along again. Another point for Jerry Cheevers too. Torn offer. Yeah, some of our key young guys are coming along pretty well. Thinking we might. What was that?
Did you end up trading away Don Blackburn? Did that happen?
Yeah, I traded him in that deal with Philadelphia for the picks.
Oh, too bad.
Why?
Well, Jeff and I are playing the same game, but obviously different computers because we don't. or we live across the country. In my game, I got to July 2nd, and Boston offered me left-handed defenseman Barry Wilkins for Don Blackburn.
Former Canuck Barry Wilkins, or I guess future Canuck in this one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, okay. Not seeing any. Oh, Gilles Marat made up to 2.5 stars. I think, unless he was there already. I don't think he was. Yeah, he's only 23. I think that's just an improvement this year. A few guys declining. Hopefully we have some good training camps. This isn't. The forwards are still looking pretty bad. So, on to 1968.
Okay, before you go there,
Too late.
can you check your personnel? Because all the personnel coaches have been non-assigned on my game. I want to make sure you have guys assigned there.
Oh, into the roles, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Nope, I don't have them right now. Let's set that up. Just taking a look at their training strengths and.
Yeah, it looks like Aston should be goal coach.
I mean,
Molitor should be.
I said Molitor to goaltending coach. I think. No, I'm going to have Aston as the skill coach. Molitor. We did lose the trainer at the end of the year.
There's the guy who starts with an L is not a very good assistant coach.
No, he's better. He's okay with defense, so I can put him there, and that would leave the last guy.
You can sign Gary if you fire him. You can sign Gary Ruddock as a trainer. Or at least I was just able to.
Ruddock, whatever.
Ruddock, yeah.
Yep, there we go. Okay. Grabbed him. And the scouting, which I had set up. Oops, got to start. We've got to redo that to reassign guys for the season. You can see the. I'll. CSI 3012 is just asking in chat if I can explain the red and yellow marks and the countering roles in the strategy screen. When we get back up to the start of the season, when I'm setting up the lines, I'll do that. Scouting, okay, the assignments for this year. Get them, whoops. This is pretty much my standard setup for scouting historical. I want one guy looking at the amateur draft for quantity, just to find as many guys as possible, and also scouting for potential there. And if I remember right, Wilkinson is the other good guy with a high evaluating potential rating, so he's also going to get assigned to the upcoming draft. Only I'm going to have him on quality. He'll make sure the top guys get scouted. Also looking for potential. I have Kurt Tipoff, which seems a good name for a scout. As my pro scout, he's going to look at the NHL in general for quantity and current ability, just keeping track of everybody who's in the league. And the last guy will get assigned to watch the free agents and looking for potential there and try to see all of them. And I'm an idiot because I set all of those for 1 week when I really wanted to do it for 16. So let's try that again. Fortunately, it retains all the information, so I can just change the dates and we're still good. Okay, so everybody's on 16 weeks. We're good there. Got the draft coming up in 9 days, so unless there's any interesting things in the news, and I don't see any. No expansion this year. You can see all these 17-year-olds that are coming in this season will be drafted a couple of years from now. Some, obvious big names: Robinson, Salming, Daryl Sittler. So we'll definitely be looking there. Looks like Al Arbor retired. I wonder if he'll go into coaching. Doesn't look like it. So let's just advance that up to the draft day. And on to the draft. So you can see Philadelphia with that first overall that we gave them. The guy that we lost, that's actually that's slightly better draft than I expected this year. Forgot that LaPointe was available, so we better hope that 70 pick pans out. Harlamov is in there. He won't be signable right now, so hopefully the AI will know to avoid him. Our picks are number 13 overall, and I think that is it. It's only 2 rounds. So we're probably looking at, we might be able to get somebody who can play for us at least. So I'm just going to move through this. Yeah, see, they wasted it on the Russian that they can't have. Oakland gets Guy Lapointe. So the AI is a little dumb when it comes to the Iron Curtain guys. I got to do something about that next year. Rene Robert. Okay, done. Okay, I'll just run this until it gets to us. And yeah, there you can see there's not a lot left over at this point. So we're basically stuck with picking a guy who can be decent in a few years and is not very good right now, or one who is sort of passable right now and will not be that great. Although Veli-Pekka Katola, great Finnish player, it'd be a little weird to bring a Finn in this early into the game, but he's looking like he's going to turn out pretty well. Lou Morrison, good penalty killer. Oh God, you got to read the story out that Lagos is telling in chat.
I know, it's amazing.
Should we be saying this out loud for the YouTube?
Nope. Absolutely not.
Okay,
if you were not here live.
That the punchline is, so yes, I have seen Ray Bork naked. We'll leave it to your imagination how he got to that point.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyhow, our draft pick here. I think I'm going to go with Katola. He's everybody's 2.5 stars, and he's 1.5 already. And he didn't ever do much in the NHL because he came in really late and wound up playing on a really terrible Colorado team. I think he was in a WHA for 1 year that was decent. So I'm going to grab him, and that will be our solitary draft pick for the year, I think.
Sounds like a good draft.
So the Unsigned Draftees screen is fairly simple this year. Does he want to play with us? Yes, he's going to come over right away. So I think we get the first Finnish player in the NHL. And he's probably going to be our 4th line center. Well, if we have a 4th line center, because the roster's only dressed 10 forwards right now. Run that forward.
Now, that's historically how it was, right?
Yeah. And normally at this point, I'd also be looking at free agents, but this being the early or late 60s, there's not going to be a whole lot there. Bob Leiter, who didn't re-sign with us, I can try signing him. Oh, and he does want to come back. No, he
Well,
does
he
want
is a
toughness.
restricted free agent, I believe. So.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. So we'll get him back. One interesting guy there, Inga Hammerstrom, who was a Leaf in real life, somehow slipped through the draft, and he's 2.5-star potential. So we got a Finn. We might as well get a Swede too. And oh, we got one. We've got a Swede actually already, Schuberg. But let's get a second one. So we're playing the semi-goon tactic and signing a bunch of Europeans in the 70s. That's kind of slightly inconsistent. I'm going to see if I
No,
can
that's
just
amazing.
see if I recognize any names on here. I want a guy who can play. Do we have enough scouting to get physical, or no, I want mental ratings, and I want physical ratings and I want fighting. That's what I'm looking for. No, not a whole lot of guys who are even passable at the... Yeah, that's really the shallow end of the talent pool for fighters, so we're going to have to go with what we've got. Maybe keep an eye out for another guy who can fight a little bit. 21 players on the roster. And just advance that a week so we get lighter, and then we can sort out our roster for the upcoming season. Now we got Hammerstrom as well. Oh, we got lucky with Hammerstrom. I didn't even make that competitive an offer, and he wound up signing. So he's going to start the year on the reserve list, which is the equivalent of the farm team in historical mode right now. Larry Lund is going to go down there as well. So I've only got 21 players on the active roster. Tell me, there we go, finally. Van Imp is a month away. Bill White is 2 or 3 months away. So we've got some hint at recovery there. And what the AI will... I don't know if I want to keep that line up. Going to take another look at that when we get closer to the start of the season. I'll round up the start of the preseason, then we'll set the lines for the upcoming year. I don't think there's any trades or free agent signings we want to make at this point.
Should we try going after somebody like Gordie Howe, as was suggested in the chat?
Yeah, I'd put a guy in his mid-40s, no, I guess it's early 40s at this point, on a team that's going to be a year or two away still, and probably doesn't make too much sense.
Sounds like it makes perfect sense.
And just some off-season declines again. Kurtenbach, Provost, and Vasco. Is Vasco still on our protected list? Yeah, he's a restricted free agent, so I'm going to just let him go entirely, give him a chance to sign with somebody else. Yeah, we've got decent depth on the farm right now. I'm going to put Nolay back down, actually, and Larry Mickey in, unless Nolay happens to have a good training camp development report. Oh, there we go. I didn't get all the way back up. We do have the training camp development report. I'm going to take a quick look first.
Lacos1234 in the chat says, just going to goon it up this year?
Not quite, but probably pretty close.
Well, that's why we brought in all the Europeans, to help goon it up.
The Europeans can spend some little time down on the farm first, I think. And, oh, Bill White, the report is a little worse on him now. It's he's probably going to be the middle of the year before his shoulder's ready to go again. Yeah, Van Imp is up. Okay, that's our 7 defensemen. So we'll get Ed Van Imp back, at least for the start of this year. And, oh, wow, look at that. Katola, instead of 1.5 stars, once we got him on the team and had a look at him, he comes in at 2.5. So there's our first-line center for this year. That's a nice surprise.
Was that... Sorry, that was the Finnish guy?
Yeah, Katola. So there's our first-line center that's going to give us a little better shot this year, I think. And, oh, I think we may see why when I look at... oh, yeah, there we go. White had a setback. That's bad news. So, training camp development report, and Katola probably has a ridiculous line. Yeah, look at that. Up 7 or 8 categories. Yeah, so huge jump for him. Morris Mott coming along nicely. One of my free agent pickups. Bob Berry developing well too. So I gotta take a look over. Yeah, Berry is up to 1.5 stars now. Papen still at 3. Dornhofer 2.5. And nobody on the farm making a huge jump. Calling Mickey up. I'll leave Nole in for the training camp for the exhibition games. Okay, so how's our tactic coming? Still not pretty inexperienced with this, so it's going to take a. So hopefully training camp will, or the exhibition games will give us a chance to get that a little higher. And there's so we're actually putting Katola on the 3rd line, start him out down there. At least the AI wants to. I guess that makes sense. That does not, however, make sense. Provost and Dornhofer needs to change. And
Question from the chat: does Kyoto become your?
Yeah, no, I think it looks like the AI wants to put Brian Campbell. He's better as a playmaker, so that probably makes a certain amount of sense. And I won't rush Katola too much. Yeah, I think I kind of like the way the AI has that now. So let's get ahead to our first exhibition game, which is coming up when? Oh, coming up today against the Leafs. Okay. So the question was, how we want to know how the major and minor countering roles work. What we're doing, what happens with those is for every player you've got in a countering role, it will reduce your opponent's tactical score. You can see our tactical scores up here: 64 for the offensive one, 56 for the defensive one. If we have for every guy that we've got in a countering role, that will lower the opponent's score, and every role that they've got. Did we just crash on the stream? I just lost the feed on...
No, it seems we're good.
You can still hear me?
Well, in my current feed, yeah.
That's weird. Mine just totally shut down in my browser. Media resource not supported. I've never seen that error before. Weird. Okay, but you can still see everything fine? We'll assume it's okay?
Yep.
And just something weird with my browser, maybe. You'll update me.
Someone said a buff.
I can't see chat anymore either, so let me know if there's any questions there.
No, says we're good.
Okay. But yeah, back to the countering roles. The major countering role obviously will take more points away from the opponent than the minor countering role is. So the trick here is balancing the roles you want guys in, and it will get the most tactical points for you, with the roles that will take away the most points for your opponent. So you can see just my default here is actually in pretty good shape. I've got whatever the Leafs tactic is has trouble with the guys in the playmaker role, so that's going to hurt them. I think we're going to show up in pretty good shape. Let's see if there's anything else. Anything I can do with a defenseman? Okay, yeah, it looks like I'm pretty much, unless... No, you see, in this case, I could get a countering role for Schubert by putting him in the shutdown defenseman role. But that doesn't make a lot of sense because he'd only have 1 point tactically in that, and I'd be doing more damage to myself probably than I would be hurting the other team. So I think that about covers that. Power play looks reasonable. Penalty killing also okay. You can see the same thing applies here. Got a couple of minor countering roles in the penalty killing, so let's start this up. and go to the game. And you can see, okay, their offense has a slight advantage over my defense. Mine has a fairly somewhat bigger one over their defense. They've got the advantage of penalty killing, and our penalty killer. Yeah, they've got special teams advantages in both cases. So I'm just going to run this to the end of the period, and then see if there's anything I can do to change the tactical situation. Because yeah, they were shooting us 6-0 at one point.
Ooh.
And Glenn Sather gets a goal for us, even though we're getting outshot 14-2.
Finally.
Promising start. So I don't think there's a whole lot I can do about the penalty killing and their power play advantage, but I think I might be able to turn around that penalty killing. So if I take a look at the strategy screen, one thing I want to do next year, I think, is give you a list of exactly what the countering roles are for the other team, so it's a little easier to find the guys who could potentially have them, or at least do something that gives you a little bit better information. So I don't think that's going to be enough, but it may have cut into their advantage a little bit at least. Yeah, it did by a bit, so probably not going to make a huge difference. I'm just going to run that to the end of the game now, sim it out, and it winds up in a 3-3 tie, because we don't play overtime in the 60s.
What? You mean they didn't have shootouts in the 1960s?
Go figure, they somehow survived without them. Okay, I don't think there's any urgent need to play any of their exhibition or watch any of their exhibition games, so I'm just going to get to the start of the regular season, and I will check the waiver wire to see if anything interesting happened there. I was talking to Sebastian a little while back, and we think we may be able to get the old waiver draft into the historical game. We're going to try and do that for next year.
Ooh.
That would be a cool thing to have.
Now, for those people who don't know, who is Sebastian?
Sebastian is Sebastian Pelkowski, our lead developer, who does a lot of the coding, along with Malta Schwartz, the other coder. So when there's some kind of programming-related decision, and why are we not addressing Ed Van Imp? Oh, I forgot to set up my defenseman. I'll review it with the guys, and yeah, I screwed up the defenseman there. Well, I guess Schubert can stay up. Anything like that, talk it over with them, and it's apparently relatively easy to set up a draft like that in the game. So if you're in the 70s and the 80s, you will be able to do the old school waiver draft. We're hoping next year.
And 90s.
Oh, yeah,
in fact, in the waiver,
90s. Yeah, that didn't die until the
actually
CBAs, did it?
It didn't die till the 04 CBA, I think, basically.
Was it that late? I thought it was in 95.
No, it was. No, it was into like the late 90s, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe, or it just didn't. Nobody ever used it after a few years. And Jerry Cheevers makes it up to 4 stars.
All right. Yeah, I think it did kind of eventually die in the just early 2000s.
Yeah, it wasn't. Nobody was using it, so it wound up. Yeah. Oh, and interesting free agent somehow popped up. Where did he come from? Oh, Montreal. I guess they're too loaded on guys, so they've released a decent young player, Robin Burns. Was actually, you remember the iTech facial shields?
I do, yes.
I don't think anybody. I don't know if they're still in business or not, but that was Robin Burns' company. So this is what he did after he retired from the NHL.
Okay. Is iTech still around? It looks like it.
Oh, cool.
iTech to me is one of those brands, kind of like what's the name of the helmet brand that like all the old guys wore that just looked terrible? No, like the one Solani and Gretzky both wore. Jofas.
Oh, Jofas. The Jofas weren't that bad.
Yeah,
It was was it
You know,
Stan Mikita that had the weird? I think it was the Winwell helmet that was like a funny, really circular shape to it.
well, yeah, but I mean, that to me, the iTechs and the Jofas were in the same category. iTech
Uh,
used to make helmets too. I don't think they still do out,
and
but I
we've got a
think they're
couple of minutes
I
here,
think they
so I'm just
still
going to run
run.
this a month into regular season. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
And
that's okay.
oh, whoops! I should set the roster up a little bit better first. No way can go down. And Barry or Selby in the starting lineup. I'm going to go with Selby to start with, but probably switch to Barry pretty quickly if Selby keeps going downhill. Okay, anything of interest to us? Another development report. And sure enough, as soon as I say if Selby goes downhill, he goes downhill.
Well, it seems to happen.
And let's see how he started. 1, 5, and 2. Ouch. That's the bad news. The good news is Minnesota and Pittsburgh are just as pathetic as us.
Well, it's...
So what did we do here? We won the last game against the Hawks. We did have kind of a rough schedule off the start. Bruins, Canadians, Rangers.